Welcome, 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 ladies. Thank you for coming to review your Akashic wish list, consciously create your spiritual new year. And this is my very first time doing this online, so bear with me and you can laugh and chuckle. So, what we're talking about is first, I'd like you to introduce yourselves to each other and give me what your hopes for the future and what Halloween means to you. Make it like no more than 2 minutes. So, Luann, would you go first?
Okay. I'm Luann. Um, Hopes for future would be, um, I don't know, financially out of debt. um, I know, I guess everybody wants that, but just to be at peace with everything, less stress. And Halloween always meant a fun time for kids. I never thought of it as what you were mentioning, like on a spiritual level. I never thought of it like that. So this is very interesting to me.
Okay, thank you. Diane.
My name is Diane Miller. My hopes for the future are to somehow bring some peace and healing to the world. Um, Halloween is a very,
For your future. Let's
for
go
my,
to yeah, not the world. We're not dealing with the world. Halloween is
okay.
about you. This isn't world peace. So, what
Okay.
are your hopes for your future?
I'm hoping for my future to find the calm center that I need to navigate.
Okay.
Halloween is very conflicted for me because I lost my brother on Halloween night. And so it's kind of a mixed bag for me. Not
Okay.
not a happy time.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll get you to look at Halloween a little differently.
I hope so.
Stella.
Me. Oh, it says Brian. Oh, everyone, I'm not Brian. I'm Stella. Um, Hopes for the future for me is to have more peace in my life. I think Diane said it or Liz said it. I don't know. Just a calmness and also to work on forgiveness. I still have trouble with forgiving. Um, Halloween to me is a time for children. Um, that's they go out, they get their costumes, they do the trick or treating, they go to festivals, and that's what it is. I don't think of it as the yucky, scary, you know, stuff. Only I get scared when the big kids come to my house trick or treating.
Heck, that's fair. And they seem
Yeah,
to be getting bigger and bigger.
right. Yeah.
Liz.
Hello. Sorry, I was scrambling to shove food in my mouth really quickly before coming on camera. I'm Liz Benton. I have a lot of hopes for the future, but I think in summation, I'm really hoping for clarity on how I should be spending my time. I tend to stretch myself a little too thin to distract myself, I think, from where I'm really meant to be. And I also am trying to take back, so to speak, what was naturally me when I was a kid. Um, for example, I used to sing when I was like 4 years old, and I grew up in Chicago in the city. And I'd walk along the streets at 4 pretending to be an opera singer, and I set off car alarms. Like literally, like I set off the car alarm with my voice. I asked to join a fourth grade and up choir at second grade. And they're like, "What? Who are you, you short little thing?" And I did. So I've spent a lot of time silencing myself in my adult years, and I'm hoping to kind of take my voice back, so to speak. And Halloween means to me, I mean, I guess it does feel like a time of renewal, and it's always near my birthday and when we move the clocks, and so it's just always feels like this fresh, kind of scary renewal time.
Well, I can tell you that I don't think anybody is wrong. Okay. I think everybody is perfectly right where they're at. And I think one of the hardest things that we have is that as Americans in particular, and I say this with all the love and warmth in every aspect of life, I feel like Americans are, because of the Puritan society that we all grew up in, we, especially for women, are not allowed to ask for things for ourselves. We think we have to be the codependent scenario that we were raised in, tells us that we have to go out and fix it for everybody else but us. And that brings a lot of imbalance. So I want you to start rephrasing your Halloween views as a time for balance for yourself, a time for you to review what it is that you are doing in your life that you would like to do better, to do less, to do more, or to redo. Because sometimes we don't get to, everybody's told, oh, make your New Year's resolutions. But that lasts, like, if we're lucky, 15 days, and then we go back to whatever it is that we're doing. And it takes 30 days to change a habit. So I want you to look at this as your opportunity to start your creation for your spiritual new year and to bring balance. Balance. I want you to look at it as Halloween night is the time that your spiritual self gets to have a voice to your physical self. Gets to speak to you and say, hey, this is what you're creating. But it's also a time for your physical self to come forward and have a conversation about what you need on earth that you're not getting. I laugh because not one of you did. Luann did. She said, I want to be out of debt. Well, how much of our spiritual selves could we actually express if we were out of debt? We'd have so much easier time. And how do we get out of debt? By doing work that we love. Because winning the lottery only happens for some people. But if you did win the lottery, you could get out of debt. But how long would that last? Because it depends on how much you win. And I can say that one of the things is that how we do it is not as important as manifesting it done. So we have to look at what are the goals that we would like to have and the things that we'd like to do. So Halloween is our time to go into spirit. We review the past year on the physical earth and review what we've done, how we've done it, and what we'd like to do. We look at 1 year up to 5 lifetimes. And that means that, let's say you have abandonment issues in this lifetime. Well, that could have been created many lifetimes ago by, your husband leaving you with 10 kids and the farm to manage while he marched off to war with his overlord and left you to contend with it all. And he died and you were stuck into poverty and all of these negative experiences, and you didn't quite understand. Because remember, back in 1499, there wasn't a lot of people who were educated. In fact, it was the clergy that were usually the most educated. And in some tribal communities, the wisdom came to the medicine men because they had the training that the normal person who was the warrior had a different level of expertise, and the women had a different level of expertise, how to tan the hides, how to do this, how to do that. So we struggle with all of these things that can be affecting us from all these lifetimes. And we come in with our destiny trying to heal those issues that have been plaguing us for other lives through and into this one. So whatever we're doing in this life to heal it is what our focus is on Halloween night. And sometimes it's not as important. Sometimes we're pretty on target, so we only review what did we do this life? And it also depends on your spiritual awareness and your destiny. So if I'm just predestined to work this year and not, go to work at the five and dime and pay my bills and come home and nothing untoward is going to happen, there's no epiphanies for spiritual unfoldment or any of that, then maybe I'm only going to review the life one year. What did I do differently last year? I need to do differently this year. But I think for many of us, because this is such a powerful time with this shift in paradigm, this is going to be pretty important for many of us. So I want you to look at this as your opportunity to bring balance, mind, body, spirit. I want you to look at it as your time to co-create the things that you need to create for the things you want to have happen. And I want you to think about this as your opportunity to bring in the love and support that you need to accomplish what you're doing. Because for some silly reason, we take us with us when we go, right? But we also have playmates and playpens that can be detrimental to us or can be supportive of us. So we want to make sure we get on the team support so that they can really kind of help us blow those doors open to our future. So with that being said, I want you to kind of just think about some things. Do you tell people what they need to do? Do you say, well, you should do this, or you have to do that? Are you focused in on them and what they need to do without looking at because if we do what they need, we tell them what they need to do, and we're problem solving for them, they're not learning their lesson. So if we go and fix it for somebody, I mean, support is one thing, but when you go and actually fix it, what you're doing is that you're helping them pay their karmic debt and they don't learn. So if somebody comes to you and they're like, oh, that child of mine, they're incorrigible, or, this boyfriend that I have, or this girlfriend that I have, you start to notice a pattern. They may have the same issues with all those people, with their family, with their friends, with their lovers. And it's the same complaint that they have over and over again. And the more we fix it for them, the less they learn to fix it for themselves. And so they don't grow spiritually. But you do, because you're paying their karmic debts. So what happens is that you will bring in somebody to do the same crap to you to see if you really got the lesson. Do you really need to be doing that to yourself? So telling people what they need to do instead of minding your own side of the street or trying to problem solve everyone else but your own creates a struggle within you that you will bring forth all these learning opportunities that maybe you don't really need. Because honestly, every time that you loan that child $1,000 to pay their rent, that's $1,000 less than you have to go on vacation or to pay for your medical bills or to go have a lover of your own, to get a getaway of your own, or to have something of your own. It's not that you didn't teach them to do so on their own. It's that you didn't let them rescue themselves. So a lot of times they don't have that ability. Here's another caveat that I want everybody to think about. Do you have opinions about everything? Sometimes people will just say something and all of a sudden it's like, well, I can fix this. I know what this needs to be. I know what that needs to be. I can do that. And I do it. I have an opinion, and that's bad because an opinion is a judgment is an opinion you have made fact. So, there's a reason for judge not lest ye be judged. And it's our opinions that create those judgments. And those judgments become harsher, and they're not helpful because you're making a judgment predicated on your life experience. So when the television tells us this is what's happening politically, or this is what's happening in social media, this is what's happening to this star or this family, when we start to form opinions because they're leading these, they don't get us hooked into the news outlets, they don't get us hooked into a TV drama, soap operas, that kind of stuff, unless we have opinions. And those opinions are generally about what we want to see in our world. It's like Erica Kane, All My Children. She was both good and evil, but it depended on which week she was doing the dance in, right? So everybody mesmerized on this woman, and I thought she was a horrible actress. And they finally she was just, and she was, and I thought, you know, I thought Vicky, A One Life to Live was absolutely brilliant, but that's because I was that personality, blunt, straightforward, and caring. I wasn't a princess, and I didn't fawn over, and I didn't have 30 husbands like Erica Kane did. That woman had a marriage every week. And sometimes the same man 2 or 3 times. So that's what I'm saying is that our information that comes into us asks us to have an opinion. So we have to kind of step back from that. Are your words framed in the positive or negative? Well, I heard something. I'm going to see if I can bring that up. Somebody asked in our class the other day, they said, is depression wrong? And let's see if I can do that. Hang on. Stop. Stop. Let me see if I can bring this up. I should have had it all set. Sorry, guys. I want you to listen to that.
11 and 12, I went through a clinical depression.
Oh, how exciting.
Yes.
And that an idea, of course, is to understand that more often than not, when people on your planet define the withdrawing into yourself to find the answers you know don't exist outside you, when you define it in a negative way, you experience it as depression. When you define it in a positive way, because it's a natural act to go where you know the answers are, it's simply natural compression. You understand the difference? Compression. It's a natural thing to compress, to go inward, to find answers you know don't exist outside of you. But when people on your planet say, oh, you're going inward, something's wrong with you. What's wrong with you? You're antisocial. You're shrinking away. You're shutting yourself off. Then, of course, if you buy into all those negative definitions of the natural compression, you will, of course, feel it as depression. So don't define it that way, and it won't be experienced that way.
Okay.
And having gone through.
Okay. So does that make sense to y'all?
Mm-hmm.
Because going within is not a negative experience, but if somebody goes in and they stumble for a few, we all think it's wrong that we do it. I just went through a period of time where I was really angry at myself. I was really frustrated. And instead of taking that time to say, wait a minute, I'm going to shut out the world. I'm going to quit thinking negatively. And I'm going to use this opportunity to meditate and allow myself to heal whatever it is that my fear is that I am locking down. So that's what I want you guys to kind of think about, because that's going to affect how you write your hopes and dreams for your next year to experience, so that you can have a more fulfilling Halloween review and a more positive outcome without as much pressure. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, so moving on. Our wants. Oftentimes, we think of our wants, and as soon as you say, I want, you have put it out here because you're telling your body you don't have it. So I want you to not say, I want. When you make your list, I want you to say, I have. Wants are outside of our realm. They're in the future. They're not accessible right now. And we want everything accessible to you right now. So as you start thinking about what you'd like to see in your next year, you need to really think about, will making more money problem solve, or will having the house that you want or the car that you want make it more collective or more accessible? Or how does that look to you? Because more money can always come in the way of, you found $10 on the ground, but is that really going to pay that $150 electric bill? So look at your physical and say, okay, I want to go back to school, or I have knowledge within me that I can bring out for my future self, that I can be using now. I've already learned everything that you think that you have to learn. You already have that knowledge within you. It's already there. It's just accessing it. So some people want more work, more business. Well, that means more money to them. That means they can buy the new car, the new house. And so they think maybe they need a new job or a new business. But the fact of it is if you already have everything and you're manifesting that it's already there, how you get there, you allow the universe to affirm to you that you have it, and it will show up without having to work harder, without having to create more, without having to worry how you're going to make those house payments or car payments. You know, it's not beyond the realms of possibilities that you have somebody that says, you know what, I have an extra $150,000 and I'm just going to give it to her to buy a house or to buy a new car. People do this stuff. Elvis Presley did it. He just would drive and hand people money. And the more he gave away, the more he received. It's the same thing with knowledge. The more you give away, the more you receive. Because you're sharing that energy of positivity, the more positive comes back to you. So let's look at some other wants. Emotional. Okay, not the best at laying it out today. I see how I got right on the line. Sorry. Get along with my family. Get along with a spouse or partner better. Fall in love. Get married. Get a divorce. Socialize more. Spiritual. Better psychic medium healer. Have peace in my life. Know more truth. Unconditional love and understand the whys. All of those things are right inside you. Okay. So I had sent to you guys the points to ponder. Did you guys get those?
Mm-hmm.
I know some of you weren't able to print them out, but that's okay. We're going to we're going to just kind of talk about the points to ponder because I know I have them here somewhere. There they are. Understanding the law of inspiration is feeling it. So when you're starting your list of things that you would like to see in your world, I have fruit that shows up at my house. It just drops from the tree. I love fruit, but I don't like to go to the store and pick it out. I just want it to be there. That would be wonderful. That's the future I would like to see. I would like my house to just fold down into a little briefcase. I could hop on my little air car that, solar car that drives on air and doesn't need tires and, just goes solar powered into the future. And I can just go to Spain, lickety split. And I could put my house by an oasis. That's the future I would like to see, but that's not what's happening right now. So I want to be disconnected from my opinions because my opinions negate me. So I want my opinions to be positive and filled with possibility. That way I'll get along better with my family and I'll have peace in my life and truth will come more easily. Do you see how one thing can counteract the other if you just reframe and rephrase? Any questions so far? So I gave you the points to ponder. And some of them, when you're thinking of these, try them on to see how they feel. And rephrase whatever doesn't feel right, but almost. And some of these are things to ponder so that you go, oh, wait a minute, is that me? So, like, I create what I emanate. So, if I'm resisting money coming into me, it's going to persist. And I'm going to create that so that I radiate a lack of financial support. So, these are thoughts that you just kind of go through and you look and see, where my focus is. My energy connects and creates. Okay. So my focus, I want it to be positive. We did a meditation this morning in the intention group that said, all that I want, need, and desire, I create with positive focus. So yes, I used the word want, which puts it out there. But I figure right now, I don't know what all I want because today I want somebody to go do shopping for me because I can't stand shopping and I have to go buy a birthday present for my granddaughter. Something like that might be a want for today. But I actually like going to go get other people gifts more than I like to go shopping for clothes for myself. So my want might be I'm going to find the perfect item for her and she's going to be thrilled with the present. So understanding that these thoughts here, we then become accountable. No one does anything to me that I have not created. Okay, that falls into that accountability factor that we talk about in the radical forgiveness. Nobody does it if we don't have the agreement for them to do it, if we didn't call it in. And taking the blame and criticism out of our life, it's not blame and criticism that we have when other people are like, somebody might be criticizing something and you're going, boy, they're very critical. Well, guess who's the most critical of ourselves? Yes, we are the most critical person. So maybe taking the blame and criticism out of I blamed myself for so many things. that I finally learned. I gave a talk one time and I said, yeah, I had sex and I didn't care because I wanted sex. I did not call myself a whore and I didn't blame myself for having sex, but I didn't want the people I had sex with to come home to my children. So I did what I did for my own satisfaction. I don't blame myself for it because it's a human function. And I did not look at sex as being a bad thing. But other people would criticize me for it because they didn't have that ability to look at it more freely. Okay. Okay. So maybe understanding the whys is a good thing. Having unconditional love for ourselves is the best thing because then you'll understand the whys. You'll know more truth. You'll have more peace in your life. So, out of that list, everything that you can want out of a spiritual existence can be satisfied with unconditional love because then you're allowing the truth to come more fully to you. Does that make sense? Any questions so far? You guys are way too easy. So I want you to think of living a life of balance, being opening your doors, and you attract what belongs to you. So if something crappy shows up for you, it's because you might be blaming or criticizing yourself. So when you're looking at this list of points to ponder, I want you to own that it might be something going on around you. I'm looking for my focus cards. I apologize. I got these cards from Michael Rhodes. Where are my focus cards? I know. Clean your desk, Michelle. I'm human, you guys. Ah, there they are. Okay, these focus cards are pretty cool. There's a deck. You can see the size, but in there are thoughts. I just pulled the card, and that would be my thought today. Harmonious. So that's a thought to keep in mind and work with all day long. These focus cards they say anything from, there's even a blank card, you can write it in, or it could be blank your mind that day, however you want to look at it. But there's appreciation, breathing, openness, newness, commitment, healthy, letting go. So there's a bunch of cards in this, and you get it from michaelrhodes.com/focus-cards if you're interested in getting those. It's Michael Rhodes, ROADS.com/focus-cards/. In this deck, if you get these, the major rule is no one touches this deck but you. Okay? If you live with other people, they need their own deck because this is going to speak to you. And you keep the deck unopened on you for a minimum of up to 3 days, a minimum of 3 days up to a week, so that your energy mingles with the cards. Okay? 50 cards with a word on it, and there are blank cards in there for you to put a word of your choice if you choose. I leave mine blank, so I tell myself, maybe you just need to not think today. That's my cue to not think. Each morning, get the deck out, pick a card for your word of the day, and then I consciously choose unconditional love and trust for myself. Feel the words, and if you can't, just fake it until you can. Then use your word in consciousness. Appreciation. Find something that you appreciate. Breathing. Am I going in and I'm breathing as I deal with my day, as I walk the dog and I'm breathing short so that I'm gasping, or am I taking full deep breaths? You know? And when you do this, whatever your word of the day is, use that in focus if you choose to get the cards. Okay. Now, the supplies you're going to need. Where did I put it? Okay. I think they're in the kitchen table. Is you need a candle like this. Okay. Um, when you light your candle, the 7-day candle, you do not, under any circumstances, blow this out. So put it in a container. You can put it in a pot, or you can put it in a plant, or, dirt. I have pots that are just dirt for me. So I don't use anything but the pot for the dirt. And I have that locked in that aspect, because you don't blow it out. You're going to make 3 copies of your list, and one of those copies is going to go under your pillow. The other copy is going to be under the candle, face up. You're going to write the list face up. And the third copy you're going to read. Now I burn that third copy after I've read it before I go to sleep. I burn it. So I have this, I envision those words carrying forth while I'm up in spirit, so that I go, oh yeah, these are the words that I create, the thoughts that I'm thinking. So I envision that as it's burning. But the one under your pillow, I tend to save through the next year. I also leave it on my computer to say, oh, I did this, because it's kind of proof that you actually do what you do. But I use it for a month. Every morning I wake up, I'm like, okay, because you're going to go to review in your dreams. And that review that you have in your dreams, you need the notebook for. You're going to write down the dream. And so Halloween night is where you're actually doing the review. For the next 3 weeks to a month, everything you are writing in your dreams, everything that you're doing in your dreams is going to build on that to kind of say, this is what I picked. So in case it's not real clear on Halloween, you're going to start manifesting. And I'm going to give you an example. Some of you may have heard this, so pardon me if I'm doing the repeat. But I was really struggling with some health issues. Okay. I was 41 and I started this insatiable itch. I mean, I was scratching myself to death. And on Halloween night, I had turned 42. So I started itching when I was 41. At 42 in July, I turned 42. And then Halloween that year of my 42nd year, which is funny because it's the 6th, 7th cycle, I dreamt that an ambulance came for me. And I was like, I'm not going with you. I changed my mind. I'm not going. They're like, no, really, the ambulance is here. And I said, no, but you wanted the ambulance. Well, I don't need it now. I'm done. I don't need it. I'm not going with you. I woke up, I wrote that down, and I was like, wow, I don't know what that's all about, but evidently I chose to live through it, whatever it was that I was manifesting. And what ended up happening is that it took me almost 7 years, another 7-year cycle, for me to find out I had celiac disease. And with that celiac disease, the itching was dermatitis herpetiformis. And I struggled with that so intensely. And I had blisters. And, you look at my arms and you're like, God, looks like she just was trashed. My arms were the place that took it the worst. I used to go to sleep with ice packs so that the itch wasn't bad. But it took me 7 years to figure it out. I went gluten-free and I didn't have another problem. I will tell you that after Lance died, I ate gluten for 2 years and I manifested an illness that, it would come back and the itching started. And I was like, I need to stop this because it does take time for the damage to come back. But I knew what I was doing because I was just being lazy in my grief. So I changed trajectories again. So understand that all of these things can happen for you. You can see what it is, but you can also change what it is that you see that you manifested the year before when the itching started. And I'd had enough and I changed that. It did take me a while to figure it out. I still itched. I had literally the 7-year itch. But I changed it. But I stayed. And that's what I'm trying to say is understand that your dreams are going to be there to move you forward. So these are real powerful times. You're going to look at what happens in this consciousness, great awakening. Do you want the great awakening where you wake up and you have peace and calm? Or you want to be in the great divide where you're still arguing with people over petty stuff that you have no intention on fixing because you're still stuck in that loop of pettiness. So think about that as you go in. Now, the rule for that night, do not drink or get high on Halloween night. I know there's a lot of people that do a glass of wine before bed, or they do a gummy. That's not the issue. When I'm saying do not drink, it's like don't go get tanked and have like 5 shots of tequila or 3 beers and go to bed because you're not gonna get the full effect of your wish list. If you do a gummy, but don't sit and smoke 3 joints so that you go to sleep trashed. It doesn't do you any good on Halloween. Save it for the night after or the night before, preferably. Place your notebook by your bed. Tell yourself, now I heard this, I don't know if this is true, but if you take a glass of water and you say, I'm going to remember my dreams, and you take a sip and you drink that, and then you go to sleep. When you wake up in the morning, or whenever you wake up, because I have a tendency, I wake up at 2 in the morning to go to the bathroom, and you chug that water, it'll bring your dream back. So try to remember to stay in bed and go back in and think about your dreams, and then you can write it down in the notebook. Don't just immediately get out of bed and try to do that. Tell yourself to remember your dreams. Tell yourself, I will remember my dreams for the next 3 to 4 weeks. Write down as much detail as possible, meaning who's in them, what the colors are. I dreamt one night that I was in this lunchroom and there was some amazing panels of stained glass that were in all these beautiful colors. And I wrote down all the different colors. And I looked for them as a sign for me through the next week or two. And when I would see that color, I was looking at what was going on around that. So when I saw it in my natural state, I was like, oh, okay. So you can get the synchronicities, you can get the symbolism, but you have to really kind of focus. Okay. And keep as many of those details as possible. Log them in for the next 3 to 4 weeks and watch as you start to unfold. So if you want a new job, I want you to feel that new job happening. But if you don't know what that new job is going to look like you don't know if that new job is going to be one with travel, and you'd like it to have travel, then feel into those things and feel yourself at the airport. Feel yourself checking your bags in, walking into the departure gates, getting on a plane, sitting down with somebody pleasant next to you that will either talk to you calmly and clearly or won't pester you so you can just put your jams on and you listen to your music and just relax, or a book on tape. All of these things are a way to build your future in the moment now. But it's important that you know the trajectory that you're going in, because maybe you're tired of getting up and scrubbing the floor because that floor is the flooring is tacky and it looks dirty all the time. So maybe you create a floor that doesn't look so dirty. So, whatever it is that you want or need or desire, put it in the I have when you make your list. Any questions? Okay. What we're
Michelle,
yeah.
hold on. You said to not get up, but a lot of times we wake up, but we gotta go to the bathroom.
Mhm.
Does that count as
Well, let me tell you, sometimes I go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and I don't have a dream logged in my brain, but I have the dream afterward, after the pressure. So my suggestion to stop that from happening is don't drink anything after 6 o'clock at night. And if you do drink something after 6 o'clock, let's say 4 hours before bed, because some people go to bed at midnight, small sips to alleviate that pressure build. Because we can drink a ton of stuff through the day and get hydrated, so we're not craving. So that's why they say drink and get well hydrated before surgery, so that you're not going, I don't care what the doctor said, and chugging a glass of water at 4 in the morning when you have surgery at 10. See what I'm saying? So make sure the few days ahead of time you maintain that hydration so that you can ease off of it on Halloween night. And don't eat salty things. Okay? Because salty things will bring thirst. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a quick question. If you've been like having really vivid but confusing dreams in the last couple of weeks, do we pay attention to those as well? Or is it more like now that we're setting the intention to remember them and create these lists, that's more what we should pay attention to?
No. Pay attention. If you're having deep, intense dreams, pay attention to those, because you were already creating what you wanted to make manifest for your new year spiritually. Your spiritual self has already been working on this. So remember, we're trying to get the physical self to bring in what the spiritual and emotional self wants. Excuse me. So with that being said, it's because when you do the we go through Halloween every year, and we have done every time we incarnate. It's the high holy day for spiritual connection. That's why the veil between the worlds is thinner. And so they didn't want us consciously making our new year, our spiritual new year, a reality. They didn't want us doing that. So they filled it with goblins and spooky things and witchcraft and made it sound very evil, so that we wouldn't go to review. We wouldn't celebrate the high holy day of consciousness, because that's where you can really grow spiritually from that night. So that's why your spiritual self's already manifesting. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah. Thank you.
You bet. Anything else? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a meditation, and I want you to just allow the energy of the meditation to kind of come through so that you can feel um, a little bit more of the flow of energy going in, and try to, if you can, if you remember this meditation for the next few weeks, great. If you don't, that's okay. Follow what you want on your own. So put your feet flat on the floor, get comfortable in your chair, nothing's crossed off, and take some very slow, even breaths. They don't have to be deep. You can do a cleansing breath, one really deep. And just kind of relax into that. Go into easy breathing. Relax all the muscles in your face, your shoulders, your hands. Let your body just release. Your back relaxes. Your hips unfold and unwind. And feel the energy just kind of flowing in and out of you. And imagine above your head a small crack opening in the atmosphere, about a foot off the top of your head. Watch as it grows and the crack gets bigger and wider. And the purest white light comes down upon you. It touches the top of your head. See, feel, hear it as the light gently drops, drip by drip, onto the top of your head. Feel it getting warm. Feel it entering your entire being. Feels the energy in your head. It drops down into your shoulders, going down through your arms, and your arms become light. See the outside of it. Gently caress your ears, softening your jaws, coming down onto your shoulders, surrounding your hands, arms, and they become lighter. See as it drips into your chest and around your chest. And as you breathe in, it fills your heart, your lungs, your stomach, your liver, gallbladder, intestines. Watch as your heart pumps it throughout your entire body, down into your hips, down through your femurs, into your feet, and out the bottom of your feet. As your lungs exchange the energy, breathing in this light, you're breathing out the tired, negative emotions and replacing it with the love that the light brings. You feel yourself getting calmer, more peaceful. With every breath, You see the light going through your body, traveling through the blood veins and arteries, empowering your muscular system, your nervous system, your structural, and now your entire body is light, inside and out. The light drops into the ground below you, going deeper and deeper. It pushes the fears, the negative thoughts down and out the bottom of your feet to be cleansed by earth. Don't worry, earth knows how to recycle this energy. Trust the earth. Breathing in, you receive the flow of abundance throughout your entire beingness. Your metaphysical body will absorb all that is light and is transmitted through the physical body to the metaphysical body and back again to the physical. You are now connected with the constant flow of love and light. Each time you feel stress, fear, sadness, anger, you know all it takes is a few deep breaths and the light will be reactivated and reconnect you to the positive flow of abundance. You have no worries. Everything is in perfect balance. All that you need and all that you are made manifest through this light. The light extends out into the universe. And as it goes out, you feel the freedom of a stress-free life because you are so filled with love. And all that comes back, you feel it, and it's expressed as abundance, balance, health, calm, and peace. Allow that to just go in and out of you from here to the universe and back again. All the fatigue is lifted. All the negativity has left. All the fear is released into positivity. There's no more anger. There is no more grief. There is no more pain. You are a divine child of consciousness. Know your truth. The truth that is in you now knows all is in perfection and everything is there for you to make manifest so that you can shift the consciousness and do the healing work for yourself, your ancestors, your descendants, the animal kingdom, Mother Earth, the winds, the planets, the galactic community. You will have only the experience of perfection. Allow yourself to keep breathing deeply as you come back into consciousness, as you come back into your home. Know that your spirit teachers, your guides, and your guardians all are there, loving you, supporting you, applauding you for the truth that you now hold, that you are a divine child of consciousness. You are a magnificent, metaphysical, multidimensional, eternal, immortal being of love and light. And you are consciously creating unconditional love and trust in yourself. And when you're ready, you can come back into the room. Okay. So we are going to figure out how to, there we go. Stop the share. How are you guys feeling?
Pretty relaxed.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording because I don't think that needs to be out there for everybody. Hang on a second. I always have a hard time figuring these things out. Da, 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 da. Oh, I guess there it is.